do it." "Not a chance." Tyler and Connor stood on the edge of Heatherfield Woods, looking out, surveying a field covered in purple heather. Standing as high as your waist in the summer, the field made the best hide-and-seek arena. But now the autumn breeze was setting in. The boys stood at the edge of the forest. They pulled their jackets a little tighter around themselves. "Chicken!" Connor started making noises like a chicken, bending his arms under his armpits and flapping his arms like a bird. The smile on his face could have been mistaken for careless abandon, but if you had looked closer, you would see a small twitch in the left corner, trying to keep the smile to hide the uncertainty. He didn't want to show his friend that he was terrified. "If you're so brave, then you do it." Tyler wasn't hiding his worry. He was frowning and hopping from one foot to the other. He wanted to turn and run, but he couldn't. He'd known Connor since nursery school, and Connor, unlike Tyler, had never backed down from a fight, even when he had no chance of winning. Connor turned to his companion. He saw the small chatter of his chin and the shiver that fell across his shoulders. "We'll do it together." Connor was suddenly serious. Tyler tried to look anywhere, but unfortunately the only place his eyes could go was to the well. Out in the middle of the heather field was a stone well with a thatched roof. The wooden frame housed a single metal bucket tied to a frayed rope. As Tyler stared out at the well, he could feel Connor's eyes on him. They would need to decide soon. Tyler looked over at him and nodded. "Come on, let's just get this over with." Tyler marched out first. In the field, the breeze had fallen silent. The song of the birds and the twigs snapping had suddenly gone. Tyler looked back at Connor. His brows furrowed, his lips traced into a thin line. "Come on!" Connor's smile suddenly disappeared. As soon as he followed his friend into the field, they both looked towards the well. "I don't want to do this." Tyler reached the well first. Connor stood next to him, looked down into the black water below. "Throw a penny in the well, that's all you'll have to do. If you hear it hit my waters, your wish will soon come true. But beware the wishes, beware the consequence. One life you must forsake to grant the wish your penny makes." Tyler's voice was eerie and sing-song. The field was quiet and Connor was pale. Connor nodded slowly. He took a deep breath and breathed out slowly. A life to forsake. He turned and waited. "They'll be here soon." Connor could barely hear himself. The well was almost humming. He knew someone else was on their way too. Just as easily as Connor spoke the words, two figures entered into the field. One boy and one girl. No more than 16. Holding hands and laughing, the boy was pulling the girl up the hill. "I'm not going up there."
Ah, come on, Bryn.
"Dylan, don't you know what happened to those boys?"
Bryn, they were stupid little kids. They got too close to the edge and they fell in. Come on, you telling me you're going to fall down a well too?
Bryn smiled at Dylan and let him pull her the rest of the way. They reached the top and stood opposite Tyler and Connor. Dylan reached into his pocket and pulled out 2 pennies. He held one between his thumb and forefinger and raised it to show Bryn.
"One wish, baby."
Dylan flicked the coin with his thumb and it fell into the well. They both waited a moment, heard it bounce off the stone wall, and all at once the small plop as it hit the water. "What did you wish for?"
I wished it was finally to be alone tonight.
Bryn punched Dylan playfully in the arm and Connor looked at Tyler. He motioned with his head as he walked round the side of the well. He stood behind Dylan. "I wish," Bryn stood at the edge of the well with her penny in hand, "that we can be together forever, just you and me." She reached up on her tiptoes and kissed Dylan. As she wrapped her arms around his shoulders, she threw her penny into the well. It fell straight down into the waters. As she did this, Tyler walked around the well and stood behind her. He locked eyes with Connor.
A life you must forsake, grant the wish your penny makes.
The boys said it in unison, and then, as if united by an unnatural force, both boys pushed hard and watched as Bryn and Dylan, first surprised, tried to reach out for something to grab to arrest their fall. Dylan grabbed the wooden frame of the well, but Connor was quick and hit his hand with a bucket. He let go and soon was falling. Bryn had reached out, and Tyler, out of conscience, had grabbed her hand. As their hands connected, Bryn saw Tyler for the first time. A flash of confusion crossed her eyes. It quickly turned to a plea, a desperate plea for help. Tyler looked her dead in the eyes and mouthed, "I'm sorry." He pulled back his hand and watched as she fell down into the well. As they hit the water, they never made a sound, and when the boys looked over the edge, the water was still. As they turned, Bryn and Dylan stood behind them, drenched from the water, but they didn't feel the cold. Their skin now pale, their eyes hollow, the spark of life gone. The knowing and sudden realization dawned on the teenagers as they stared back at the boys, who now standing in front of the two lives forsaken, began to fade, their very existence on this plane already beginning to waver, their time almost up. The spell fulfilled, the well still guarded, the magic sustained. Their boys locked eyes with Bryn and Dylan, and as both Tyler and Connor became as translucent as glass, finally felt a sense of peace and equal weight of grief, they said, for the last time together,
It's your turn now.
Hi guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell. We'll see you all again soon when I can think of a story.
And I can bring it to life.
Till then, enjoy that brew.